Omaha City Council this week approved a study of the Northwest Radial Highway corridor. It's a perilous stretch of road.
The section in question begins on Cummings Street and runs to Benson Park. Our Brent Weber spoke with some business owners who applaud the long-term idea and want action now.
On a highway riddled with blind spots, the city is working towards a vision.
Yeah, this is a long stretch. It'll analyze Cummings Street all the way up to Northwest Radial, up to about 67th Street.
Nebraska Road 28K, or N64, depending on where you are, is made up of about 5 winding miles, multiple three-way intersections, and increased traffic volume that's led to an increase in crashes, including a fatal one in late May.
So when you have a street that's better designed and there's a complete street, that's also good for surrounding neighborhoods and economic development and all those things. So that is an interest here too, but primarily I want to make sure we're addressing the safety issue because it has been a concern for a long period of time there, and we had another incident just yesterday.
It's music to Felicia Russell's ears. She bought the building that's home to her business in 2006, and since then,
it's gotten worse.
She's lost track of the time someone has crashed into or near her salon.
One of the times someone hit this light, and it came through the building, so all these had to be replaced.
Crump's Barber Shop has been open about a year. The talk of the shop, speed.
You know, people flying by, trucks, buses.
Busy street.
Yeah.
One of the busiest streets around.
And there's times people are going 70 or 80.
Bill McCarthy's Heat and Air office is next door. It's been there since '99. A few years ago, he had an unwanted guest, even installed his own posts intending to protect his building.
Put 4 of them out there last year, and they got hit twice that I know of.
The reality, the study will likely be complete sometime in 24. The work incrementally wouldn't likely begin before 2025. In the meantime,
what needs to be done?
Well, maybe if they could do something about the timing of the lights. That's about the only option I can see is make people stop before they can't, get a 4-block run at you.
There needs to be some way to cause them to slow down, not by just putting that temporary sign up that lets you know how fast or slow you're going. Okay, we see it for a week or 2 weeks, they put that up and then it's gone. So now it's back to, road runner race.
On your side in Omaha, Brent Weber, 6 News.